And the title of this mini podcast is What I Want. I was out shoveling during the recent blizzard here in the Northeast, and while I was out doing that, I was reminded of an old Grasshopper quote. It goes like this: "It may never be the way you want, but it will always be the way it is." Now, that piece of wisdom has a way of sneaking up on you. It feels good to get what I want. I mean, who doesn't really like that? The trap is thinking that once I get it, I get to keep it permanently. That's not how this works. I remember my mom saying, "Children are only lent to you." That means they grow up, get big and ugly, and go have families of their own. What we want eventually dissolves, or it evolves into something else, because permanence really isn't part of the human experience, except for maybe death, taxes, and the infomercial. So the message isn't don't want things. The message is enjoy what you want while it's here, instead of trying to capture it and seal it up in a jar. That's not fatalism, that's realism. And in case you haven't noticed, things don't always go your way, especially when what you want is for other people to be the way you want them to be instead of the way they actually are. Which reminds me of a story from back in my radio days. I had a great teacher, Paul Hennings. He ran a school for young broadcasters in Norfolk, Virginia. Now, Paul had serious credentials. In fact, way back when Arthur Godfrey, the father of the modern-day disc jockey, left radio for television, Paul was the guy who replaced him. And Paul told us about those first few radio shows after taking over. He was nervous, tight, not quite himself. His program director noticed and finally pulled him aside and said, "I hired you to be who you are, not who you think you're supposed to be." That lesson impressed me, because people are going to be who they are, whether we want them to be or not. All the fretting we do when they don't match our expectations, it just creates stress, mental and physical, and it keeps us living in an illusion. So here's a reality-based formula that lets the air out of that balloon. If you can't change what is, you really only have two options: accept it or walk away from it. That's it. And this is my hope, for you and for me too, that we get more of what we want, without living in a constant state of wanting. All the best, John.